Hi, this is Alex from devstories.eu. Databricks, episode 2 of 15. If your company uses multiple workspaces to process data, you probably have multiple places where you manage security permissions. That fragmentation is a massive compliance risk because keeping policies synchronized across disconnected environments relies entirely on manual updates. Unity Catalog eliminates this risk by fundamentally changing how data governance works in Databricks. Before explaining the mechanics, we need to clear up a very common misconception. Unity Catalog is not a passive data dictionary. It is not just a list of tables where users go to read descriptions. It is the central policy engine, actively enforcing security rules across your entire architecture. Unity Catalog solves the persistent problem of knowing exactly who has access to what. It provides a unified security model based on standard ANSI SQL. Instead of configuring cloud identity roles, workspace-level permissions, and cluster-level access controls separately, you use familiar commands like grant and revoke directly on your data and artificial intelligence assets. Because Unity Catalog sits at the account level rather than being bound to an individual workspace, you define a security rule exactly once. That rule is then instantly and universally enforced across every workspace attached to that catalog. Consider a situation where an auditor asks a chief technology officer to prove exactly who queried a specific table containing credit card numbers last Tuesday and to identify every downstream report that currently uses those numbers. Historically, answering this meant parsing disjointed system logs across different tools, manually reading scheduled transformation jobs, and hoping no intermediate steps were missed. Unity Catalog handles this natively through its next two pillars: built-in auditing and automated lineage. First, it captures detailed user-level audit logs out of the box. Anytime a user or a service principal accesses data, the catalog records the event. Here is the key insight. Unity Catalog does not just track who queried a table, it tracks what happens to the data next through automated lineage. As your scheduled pipelines run, the system continuously reads the execution plans and builds a map of how data flows. It tracks which source tables feed which intermediate data sets, all the way down to the final dashboards. It tracks this at both the table level and the column level. When the auditor asks about the credit card data, you do not need to guess. You view the lineage graph and instantly see every transformation step and every access point. The final major pillar is secure data sharing. Organizations often need to share data sets with external vendors or separate business units. Instead of exporting flat files or duplicating data into separate cloud storage buckets, Unity Catalog integrates a protocol called delta sharing. This allows you to grant external parties governed access to live data without copying it. The external consumer reads the data in place, and their access is logged and controlled by the exact same central brain. The true value of Unity Catalog is that it completely removes the dangerous gap between writing a security policy on paper and actually executing it across isolated data silos. That's all for this one. Thanks for listening and keep building.